and seeing everybody connect with each other, especially this time of year where we are thankful for all the relationships we have. But the clock struck 12, so I welcome you to the November 21st meeting of the Rotary Club of Louisville. I'm Lori Flannery, President and CEO of New Directions, current club president, and Paul Harris Fellow. I do want to remind you as we get started today that if you have a device with you, and who here doesn't, I would like to see a hand if someone doesn't have a device, if you'll please make sure that you have it either on silent or that you turn it off for the duration of the meeting. Very much appreciated. Okay, I'd like to invite to the podium now Kevin Lynch. Kevin is the Growth Director of LBMC, Chair of the Rotary Fund Board, Paul Harris Fellow +4, and one of the best darn presidents of Rotary.
I don't like to brag, but more specifically, one of the top 100 best darn presidents ever. Thanks, Lord. Bow our heads. Dear Lord, as we approach Thanksgiving week, help us appreciate all the things we have in life. Friends, family, warmth with the roof over our heads, food, faith, access to health care, relative security, and passion for life. Let us pray for peace around the world and help for those who cannot experience so many of the things we simply take for granted. Also, we appreciate and make good use of the opportunity to share a part of our lives with fellow Rotarians. We are thankful that Rotarians are a diverse group in terms of backgrounds, perspectives, life experiences, vocations, stages of life, age, gender, nationality, religion, availability of time for Rotary, etc. We respect each other and our differences and find life together to be more interesting, enlightening, and fulfilling. We are also thankful that we share a common passion to do our part, to use our talents, whatever they may be, to make the world a better place. Help us stay committed to Rotary over the years and continue to build bonds with fellow Rotarians. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kevin. That was perfect. Now to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, we have Melissa Cobb, Business Development Specialist at Sinorama Downtown. And you took your coat off. It was so fabulous. I want everybody to see it. You're so very choosy.
All right, everybody, we're going to do this on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the second with our four-way test. 1, 2, 3.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Okay, now it's time. I know we have some guests here today. So Rotarians, if you have a guest with you, if you'll please come to the microphone over here to my right, your left. If you'll line up behind that microphone, and as you introduce your guest, first, of course, introduce yourself, then your guest. Guest, when you hear your name, please stand briefly. And Rotarians, if you'll please announce the affiliation that you have with our guest.
I'm Bob Nesmith, and my guest today is my son-in-law, Nick Holmes, who's an architect with Schmidt & Associates and has worked with our guest speaker, most recently in the design of the entrance to the Fraser Museum.
Excellent. Welcome.
Another Bob. Bob Slider with Central Bank. I'm very happy this morning to have as my guest my wonderful wife of 40 years, Laura Slider.
Welcome.
Hello, President Lori. I'd like to introduce Brianna Nally.
Can you say your name first, Rotarian?
My name is Mitch Spring.
Thank you.
And I'd like to introduce Brianna Nally, who is a friend of mine and is a landscape designer. Also a graduate of the Global Bridge Fellows Program, which is stood up by St. Francis in the Fields, a leadership development pipeline. Last year we started, and she was from our first class as a graduate from there.
Well, thank you for bringing her. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Matthew Boone Gardner, Boone Gardner Landscape. I'd like to introduce my wife, Hope Gardner. She is a member of the LaGrange Rotary Club, past president of that club, and also the assistant district governor for Zone 6. And she is not only my partner in our business, but also now works at the University of Kentucky Extension in Oldham County as the horticultural specialist. So.
Fabulous. Welcome, fellow Rotarian.
I'm David Burkholder, retired landscape architect, and I have as my guest my wife of 52 years, Helen Burkholder.
Welcome.
My name is John Bush. I'm a past president of this club, and I have with me two guests today. The first is my wife, Missy. Missy is the head of logistics and many other things at the family business, which is Palmer Products Corporation in St. Matthews. And I also have here my wonderful sister-in-law, Connie Roytman, who some of you may recognize from her business she used to have called Idea, and designed it again down on Baxter. And they both, not coincidentally, share the same father who was past president of this club, as was their grandfather about 100 years ago.
Well, I love that. Welcome, both of you. And John, of course, you must be recognized as one of the best darn presidents this club has ever had.
Well, one of the 100. Right behind you.
President Laurie, I'm Steve Jester, honorably retired Presbyterian minister. And my guest today is my wife, Diana. We've also been married 40 years, and Diana is retired from directing a grant that worked with older adult facilities in disaster and emergency preparedness.
Welcome.
I'm Vernon Foster. I'm the Assistant Dean of the College of Business here at the University of Louisville. I've got the privilege not only to introduce our speaker today, but also the most special person in the world. 40 years later, my wife, Jennifer Foster.
Welcome.
She's also a Rotarian, but at the other club down the road somewhere called Lexington. And she's the executive director of the American Saddlebred Museum, Kentucky-made horse.
Thank you for being here.
President Laurie, Melissa Cobb with Sinorama Downtown, and hello Rotarians. I am privileged to introduce today Leanne Cunningham. Leanne is a Louisville native and a graduate of Assumption High School. She joined UBS Financial after a career at BlackRock, where she assisted financial advisors with risk analysis. She's now with Cunningham Private Wealth, and I will say also the daughter of one of our awesome Rotarians, Mr. John Cunningham. Thanks for joining me today.
Right. Well, we have several Rotarians in the spotlight this week, as usual. We want to recognize Denise Sears. She was a guest on the Simply Business podcast with John Jennings. And also invite you to check out the article called Building a Culture of Accountability in the Healthcare Industry by Robert Fink, Vice President, Pharmacy Services at U of L Health, featured in the Medical Care Review. And links to both of those are on our website. Dr. Melissa Chastain is one of 13 graduates of Greater Louisville East Health Enterprises Network Healthcare Fellows Program. Melissa Marvel is one of 17 graduates of Greater Louisville Inc.'s Advanced Manufacturing and Logistics Network Fellows Program. So give them really good things actually about both of those, and those are two critically important sectors, right, to Louisville's economy. Congrats also goes to Ann Monell and the Legacy Foundation of Kentuckiana on being recognized in the Philanthropist of the Year organization category at the recent Association of Fundraising Professionals National Philanthropy Day celebration. So congratulations to everybody that's been in the spotlight. So I was just talking, of course, as we do this time of year, we cannot believe how close it is to the holidays and to the end of the year. And somebody who has a January 6th birthday, that kind of weighs on me in the back of my head as well. But the other thing we couldn't believe is that it is the time of year again where we're going to be voting on our board leadership. So there was an email that went out yesterday from the nominating committee chair. He's also the club president-elect, and that's Ken Solagi. So you should have an email from him with information about the proposed slate of candidates that will be officers and directors for the 2025-2026 year, which begins July 1 of next summer. There's a link to the electronic ballot. I actually did mine yesterday because I was afraid I would forget if I didn't do it the minute I saw the email. Voting is open to all current active members and will remain open until noon on Wednesday, December 4th. If for any reason you have any questions about that at all, please do reach out to Delene, our executive director, so that she can make sure you have the email or if you have any questions about the slate. You have at your tables an invitation to our 2024 annual meeting and holiday party. This is going to be held on Wednesday, December 4th at Hurstbourne Country Club. This is where we will announce the outcome of the election, so come for that if you want to get the news hot off the press. We'll begin with cocktails at 6 o'clock, followed by dinner, dancing, entertainment, and prizes, including a Paul Harris Fellow Award. There's going to be a fun costume contest, so dressed in your most festive attire. And of course, you'll be able to find all the details and the link to the registration in Sparks. The following day, which is December 5th, we will not have the meeting, the regular Thursday lunch meeting. However, always wanted to take advantage of a gap in our schedules. The Service Projects and Grants Committee will be offering a live Zoom session on funding your projects. So if you are a committee leader, and we have some new ones, so you just need a refreshment, or if you're coordinating a service project or you would like to know how to coordinate a service project, please join us at noon. And I do believe that is going to be recorded. So if for some reason you can't and you've already filled up that schedule, please follow up with Delene or look in Sparks, and we'll be able to look at that at your own leisure. You may have seen George Breakmeyer recruiting volunteer bell ringers when you came in. Please consider registering for a shift on December 7th, 14th, or 21st. Those are at Holly Manor, the Kroger, for our annual Battle of the Bells competition with the Kiwanis Club. So now I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Linda Bartram-Moore and Rick Harnett, Chair and Vice Chair respectively of our Rotary Committee, for a special presentation.
So we are so excited that we have a Rotary Club, and so I have some people to introduce. First of all, Nisha, who is part of the administration of the School of Business, who is kindly given us room 211 for our meetings. Of course, my vice chair, Rick Harnett, who actually directs me in all things Rotary. Then we have Lacey, who is on our board, and she is in charge of recruiting, as well as, how do you put it? Communications. And then Riley is our vice president, and he's also our events planner and our vice president. Did I say the word vice president? No. He is treasurer and in charge of events. And Caroline Perez is our vice president and in charge of everything. So, and now I would like to get a group picture, and then I would like Mr. Harnett to step up and talk to you about chartering, because he is on point on this. So can we get together so we kind of form a group? I would interrupt because I'm always the shortest person. Jackie Perez.
Yes, for Rotary International to officially recognize us as a Rotaract Club, we have to get chartered. We have to get recognized by the folks at Evanston. that we have a club put together. We've had 3 meetings so far, official meetings together, and a couple of Zoom meetings for the board. We have named a board of officers. We have collected everybody's addresses, email, telephone numbers that we can send in, because Rotary International wants to be sure that these are real people and not somebody with the same name who has been in another activity. We've got that all together. We're sending that off today. We get our official charter, and then after that, Dr. Linda will be presenting the board members their pins, identifying them as official Rotaractors. I will try to introduce them to DAC DB, where we can see all the information. Would not have happened without Dr. Raymond Green and Tanisha Davis at the university. They've done so much to help us.
One more thing, we had a clothing drive which was enormously successful, and we have a blood drive in the spring, so we are already underway.
Well, this is truly exciting, and so thank you all for being interested in Rotaract, and thank you, Linda and Rick, for making it happen. I knew it had taken a while. I didn't realize it was 2 years. So I think we can definitely say it would not have happened without your all's efforts. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. I'd like now to invite to the podium Amy Luttrell, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and Chair of the Rotary Foundation Committee, for a special presentation.
Thank you, President Lori, and hello, everybody. So I know sometimes we have a lot of confusion about the Rotary Foundation and the fund. So the fund is local, the foundation is with Rotary International, but also some of that money comes back locally. So if you like to give locally, you can, if you give to the foundation, you can do that and give nationally or internationally. But each year, our club does ask every Rotarian to give at least $100 to the Rotary Foundation. And also we have, so our overall goal for that this year is $50,000. So that goal extends through the end of June, but this is year-end giving time. So this is a great time for you to take care of that if you haven't already. So you're gonna kind of cringe when I tell you this. We have 365 members in this club. And you know how many of us have given so far? 21. Okay, so we got a long way to go. We've got $20,000 of our $50,000 goal. So if you don't know how to give, if you're going to be a Rotarian and do this every year, I do encourage you to just set up an account with Rotary Foundation. I know nobody wants another account, passwords and all that, and if you really don't want to do that, Delene will take your check or even use your credit card and make that happen. But if you're going to do it every year, it's a good thing to do. Just set it. It's relatively easy. They don't make you change your password every 30 days or anything like that. So that's something you might consider doing. But any way you want to give, we will try to make that easy and doable for you. So one of the things that we do in Rotary to encourage giving is to recognize people who have given, and you all are familiar with the term Paul Harris Fellow. So that means that you have given a cumulative $1,000 to either the annual fund or the Polio Plus Fund at the Rotary Foundation. And today we have the privilege to recognize 2 people, our fellow Rotarian Bob Slider, who's becoming a Paul Harris Fellow Plus One. So come on up, Bob. And his wife, Laura Slider, who is a new Paul Harris Fellow. So give them a hand. So you probably didn't know that if you have a spouse or a loved one or just somebody that you want to recognize, you can also designate them to be a Paul Harris Fellow by making that gift. So something for us all to consider. And Bob, this is for you. Your Paul Harris Fellow Plus One pin. And Laura, you get a certificate. And also, thank you both so much for your generosity. We really appreciate it.
That's most important because we know where your money goes. Now I would like to invite to the podium Vernon Foster, Senior Executive Director and Assistant Dean at the University of Louisville College of Business, Co-Chair of the Leadership Fellows Committee, and Paul Harris Fellow Plus 2 to introduce today's speaker.
This is truly an honor and a privilege because we've had so many phenomenal speakers come in here. You can tell by how packed this room is, how impactful our speaker is going to be to you today. 10th generation Kentuckian. I've been trying to trace it back. Did they come before Daniel Boone? Most likely, right? The only other problem he's got, though, is UK grad, but we won't. But John Carloftis is a nationally renowned garden designer that prides himself on his Kentucky roots and believes that the Bluegrass State is home to some of the most enchanting and inspired gardens in the world. John returned to his native Kentucky after creating rooftop gardens in New York City for more than 2 decades, having gone up just to visit and didn't come back. What a major experience you must have had in New York City. The meticulous attention to detail honed by working in small spaces served him well as he transitioned to larger, more complex projects. Whether small or grand, his gardens are equally welcoming and beautiful. His work has been featured in many publications, including Garden and Gun, Southern Living, Country Gardens, Country Home, Garden Design, House Beautiful, Martha Stewart Living, and Metropolitan Home. He was the recipient of a Landscape Design Award from the City of New York and is the author of many books, but especially his most recent book in 2023, which I'm sure John's going to share that with you. And we're going to have a little special opportunity later with that book. He lives with his beloved yellow Labrador Retriever, Gertrude and Magnolia, better known as Baby Bags, Baby Bags, I'll let you clarify that. And restored circa 1851 home in downtown Lexington, Kentucky, surrounded by an acre of gardens. And I have to also say, he just completed the American Saddlebred Museum at the Kentucky Horse Park, a transformative, ground-changing, the whole scene of walking up into that huge horse park. And you see the work of what John Carloftis can do, and what he could even do for you. But it changed the whole look of that museum. So I hope, if you haven't been to the American Saddlebred in the horse park, you'll go see not only the horse park, you'll not only go see the American Museum of the Saddlebred, but you'll also see the great work of John Carloftis. John, please, welcome.
Oh gosh, I'm glad to be here. Yesterday I was in a t-shirt, like 60 degrees. I left a pure snowstorm. And I've said it once, I've said it before. It's Kentucky weather's like dating a Gemini. You never know what you're going to get. Y'all are Geminis. But thanks, Vernon, for the nice introduction. And I love business people, and I've been in business. This is my 38th year. And I can't believe it. I don't know how it all happened, but it sure has happened quick. We'll just tell you, I moved to New York just for the summer. And I thought, well, I gotta work, you know. So I made these cards up. And I said, John Carloftis, rooftop garden designer. Now, I've never been on a rooftop in my life. But I did know plants. I have a degree as business communication. It was, well, I didn't have to really go to class. It didn't interfere with my social life. I was social chairman of my fraternity, AGR, agriculture fraternity. Pledge brothers here today, Louis Straub. And, you know, that was fun. That's the best, UK is the best 12 years ever. I made it in 4, and then, but decided, you know, I heard another, I thought, well, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get a job. And I don't know if I'm qualified for anything. I mean, I'm a good bartender, that's what I'm good at. And I went back to school, and I took the classes that I wanted to take in horticulture and art art, greasing wrong, just all these classes I wanted to take, a full year of. I loved it. And just the highest grades, just because I loved it. Then I moved to New York, and so it started up there. I gave them around to the Upper East Side, to doormen and elevator men. And I said, give it to the person on top. And I ended up getting a call, and this woman, she called me up. I was so excited, you know. And I went up there, and I'll never forget, she was a very huge art collector. This is 1160 Park Avenue. Her name was Barbara, her husband Eugene Schwartz. I was with him 16 years, but you know, this was all new to me. So that she had boxes up there with some junipers and some taxes. I just brought Kentucky to her. You know what I mean? I'd bring back tobacco sticks. I would make these beautiful tomato cages out of them. And just things that was normal for me, but with, you know, bringing edibles up to, you know, and I was like, we need to do a vegetable garden. She said, why? I can have, you know, have everything delivered. I said, because it's going to make you a nicer person. No, I didn't say that, but that's what I meant. You know what I mean? That's what I meant to say. And, but through her word of mouth, I've never advertised a day in my life. And people said, well, how do you do it? Well, it's just like back in the days of Packard. I don't know if anybody remembers Packard. Ask the person that owns one. You know, it's all word of mouth, and the people that you do a great job for are your best advertisers. And each one, you know, times have changed. You know, I don't look people up. I don't look up the address because I don't want to see it. I want to get to that address, and I want to just experience how I see it from there, and the person. So I'm just going to take you through here. I don't even ask you to look at a little bit so I can see it. Maybe it's here. Hey, I got my first TV 7 years ago. I grew up without a TV, and so all this is new to me, really. Somebody. I don't know what to push. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank you.
And you're welcome to take the mic off the podium if you'd like.
Please. Okay, I just did a new book. I swore I'd never do a book again. I did 3. And then the day I got diagnosed with aggressive cancer 2.5 years ago, I was coming home from the University of Kentucky, and I said, well, I need an extra little thing to do. So I'm going to do another book. And also I bought the original summer kitchen to my historic home, which is next door. So now I have 1.5 acres downtown Lexington. And I restored it. It is 1810. And I dedicate this book to Mom and Daddy. Mom is Clay County, Daddy's Pineville, and from before the state was even a state, really, right in the beginning. And there's me. I've always been a gardener. There was my wheelbarrow. If I only had that thing, but it's rusted out a long time ago. So this is my family's place where I grew up on the Rockcastle River, and beautiful place. We didn't have TV, but they didn't want us to have TV. We had to read and play outside. That's all we did. And then they built a little town for us. There's my brother Dusty. It was just a great place, Mom and Daddy. Just a great place. Business came to them. They started July 3rd, 1955. And it's still going. In a way, to this day, my mama died right before COVID, and I didn't want to be in that store. That was her entertainment, and I just didn't want to do it again. In the spring, I added a wing on either side of the store with a bedroom, and now it's luxury Airbnb, and it's really taking off, and it's good. I don't have to. There's the inside. But this is what I do for clients. I go there, and if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, and I guess you have to play. I've never played. I don't even know how to play. All I do is work, but I would do exactly the same thing tomorrow, and all those things things I've been in, I have forgot about all that stuff because all I gotta know is tomorrow I gotta close down Pin Oak Stud for the year. You know, I just know what I gotta do the next day and that day. That's all I'm worried about. And that's what keeps me happy. But I change, in a way, in a nice way, I kind of change people's lives. I listen to them, try to figure out what they want, and then I interpret it, you know, I try to make things better, and so when I get texts from my clients that say, here's the tomatoes we grow, here's the screened-in porch, that's what makes my day, really, you know. And I do a lot of before and afters, and this is something like, this is a $20 thing that you can do at home. Look, this is what she had, these posts, so I got copper nails and wire. You know, for $20 you can change a place. Look at it. You know, this is just fun. This is here in Louisville. I did this about 15 years ago. And this is Matt and Fran Thorne. And I look, if I do anything, I am active on Instagram, and I think that's good for business if you're posting something really positive. And that's what I try to do every day. I try to do the moment. You know, I rarely pull things back from archives, but it's just where I am at that day. And then, you know, she loves, her colors are red and white and silver, of course. And I love doing all kinds of different colors for other people because that is what gets your business back. I'm not doing it for me. I'm interpreting what they want. Here's in Lexington. This is a Dudley's. Been in business 40 years. You all know that place. I mean, talk about a business, amazing business. He's also my dance partner. We dance together. And I'm their first hire when they bought this property, before they bought the property. I went there and they said, you think we can do anything with it? I was like, I read all the Hardy Boys growing up. This is like a mystery novel. But that's after we cleaned it out. There was car parts, there was tires in that, and that's what it looks like today. And I mean, this is my legacy at this place. I mean, everything they do is different, and they keep me involved so that I'm there every 3 weeks to make sure that everything's going the right way, you know. And look at that. Isn't that something? But it's fun. You know what, you're trying to interpret it. And I don't go there with like I said, I don't go places with an idea. This is how I meet dogs, people, property. I just go there and go, okay, where are we? What do you got going on here? You know? And then that way you learn with the people. And you're learning with your clients. But look at this discourse.
Hold your mic, John, hold your mic up.
Okay, thank you. And also tell me when I got a few minutes. How much do I got? How much time do I have?
You have about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. Here's in Louisville. And this is what, you know, when we got there, there's nothing like, if you have one step, you're asking for a broken ankle, is what I say. You have to have 2 or 3 steps to get people's attention. And this is Austin and Janie Musselman. And this was the second project I did for them. They had another step there that people were tripping on all the time. And now, no steps. You know. This was the courtyard between the house and the new garage. And look, I talked them into all these cobblestones. But what a place, you know what I mean? They can have parties in that spot. I've never had a place big enough to where I could entertain all the people I wanted to invite, so I always use my garage and everything. And that's how I think about stuff. This is downtown Lexington, and I'm going to go into that. So they kept on talking, this young couple, and they kept on talking about, we want to entertain. I was like, well, where are you going to entertain? hope you got a bunch of fold-out chairs. There's no place to sit in this place. And I told him, I said, hey, why don't we use your carport, and then when you have a party, you just pull that car out, stick it on the street, roll down this indoor-outdoor ruggable. That's what it looks like. That's what, you know, and they lived in this place with a little fire pit, you know, just, again, this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me happy. I love it. Here's Mount Brilliant. They built this new pool house and pool. I didn't design the pool, I designed a lot of pools. But look, this was about 15 years ago. There's the before, look at this. And everything, every plant, except for a few, are still there today. I take tours there all the time, bring people. This is a little place in Lexington, Gardener's Cottage for a beautiful McDeacon place. She must have loved her gardener to build that house in the 1930s, this house. But I took this old vegetable herb garden that was overgrown, look at it now, before, after. Pool. Now the pool is like me, it's swift yet shallow, all at the same time. And you can use a small one, you know, in a place. But this is Maker's Mark, another just unbelievable place. My job there was when Rob took over, a few months later he called me up and said, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something. Yeah. Okay. But my job was really to get rid of the asphalt. You know, back in the day, in the 50s, they would do it all the way up to a building. And so just getting rid of that, but still allowing enough space where you could get a fire truck or do coolers or everything. And of course, there is, and I even saved a lot of the trees that were in the parking lot, you know, instead of taking them down. But all that was asphalt when I got there. And then doing these cobblestones. Well, I got more involved. So I went on the tour about 10 or 12 times the first day. And I said, Rob, before I say I can do this, because I'm only going to do it if I can help. You know, I mean, I'm not doing it. Just do it. And I kept on going on that tour over and over. Didn't tell them, you know, what I was doing. And then every time they would stop at this one area, they would meet, and then they would get in the mud because there wasn't enough room. So I came up with this idea of these cobblestone circles. And I'm good with dogs and horses. That's my forte. And I am good with training. You know, I'm just good about that. So by the second circle, no one even had to ask them. You didn't even, the tour guide, you let people stop in a certain area and they do it. That's what I like to do. I try to figure stuff out. Now this I can't figure out. But people, horses and dogs, I can figure out. They put this beautiful piece of artwork by Matt Weir, and instead of just letting people tear up everything, as soon as it was installed, I put it in a place where people get their selfie done. You know, you have to go with the tide. It's either that or it's going to be a big old mud pit right there. Intuitive, using the colors of the bottle and only reds and color of the bourbon. Burgundy, a lot of burgundy foliage, and then the label. And two old-fashioned catalpa. They thought I was crazy to bring in a catalpa tree, you know. But there's nothing in Kentucky like that, you know. We used to try to smoke those when we were little. Like, catalpa tree is. This is Parker Place. Just going to quickly go through here. Built by, so the asphalt went straight up to the house. So we broke all that up, put in a garden that really softened everything. Here's the Carloftis garden at EKU. President wanted to, those were 6 tennis courts were. And I tried to use mainly all Kentucky plants, especially even Eastern Kentucky plants. And when in the beginning, everything was sitting in water and drowning. But instead of complaining, no one wants to hear it. You know, you'll never hear me complain early ever. No one wants to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it for myself. I just switched out the red oak trees and went to swamp white oak trees. Winterberry, all kinds of things that love the water. And we fixed it. And this is another beautiful garden before and after. When I got there, she was working herself to death. So I made it to where it's easy and manageable. And this is, if you've all been to the apiary in Lexington, is another one of my legacy places. There's me with my dogs. That's how I travel. And this is what it looked like. And then that's what it is today. Breeders' Cup, when they come to Keeneland every 2 years from now on, they rent this out for their VIP for the whole week. So they just come and enjoy it. This is a wonderful couple. When I first got to see it, I drove up and I saw that staircase coming out of the screen porch, and it didn't have the landing, so what even code? You know, they built this 30 years ago, and they've been raising 5 kids. They didn't look like a Rothschild's jaw line, just jutting right out there, you know. And, so instead of tearing it down, I just pulled it off, stuck it to the back, put a landing, and then it hugged the screened-in porch. You see what I'm saying? I like to save, you know. This jacket I bought at Evolve from men here in Louisville, $49. And my shirt that I usually pay $150 for, it's Stuart Mercer, and I love them, but still, I got this for $19.95. It's crazy, plus you're reusing something. You know? Look at it now. Look at before, after. And then, you know, they never had a place to store their garbage and their grill. So now that the stairs moved, you made the existing lattice work and made doors out of it to hide all that stuff. Yeah, before or after, you know. And this is up in Goshen, Kentucky. This is the first job I ever did for Austin and Janie, and I do things real professional like. I use a garden hose, you know. I mean, sometimes I do have to. I hire a landscape architect I love working with in Lexington. He works for everybody in town, but when I call him, he always jumps because he knows it's going to be a fun project, and you know, we eat at good places every day. But I lay out a garden hose, and I have to drive it to see if it feels good. Yeah. This is my aunt and Uncle Bob and Aunt Kathy in Richmond. With Mama. And this is Jerry and Linda Bruckheimer down in Bloomfield. I've been with them 17 years. And I tell you what, it took me a while, because the first meeting I ever had, she was like, I don't like flowers, I don't like blue. I'm like, well, hold up, lady, this is starting out wrong. You know? But I started thinking about where she comes from, and this is what I do with all my clients. It's not about me. I want to pull this out of you. See what you want, and that's the way it should be in business. If you're going to make somebody happy, you're going to help them, but you know, sometimes you're too far off and it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's like the devil worshiper. It's never going to work for me. You know what I mean? Too far off, or drama mama. You know, too much. Life's too short. But I was thinking about how she's in Hollywood. She lives in Hollywood. She's coming out of her house in Beverly Hills. And it's just flowers upon flowers upon flowers just to have flowers. She didn't want that. So I got it. You know what I mean? So I do know flowers on there. It's like very raw. That's about the only few flowers, and that's Tardiva hydrangea. And but I've been with them, I guess, 17 or 18 years now. Here's another little place. Got there, the sidewalk, tiny backyard, it went right through the middle of it. They have kids, so I broke that thing up, got rid of it, and then changed the sidewalk that goes to the garage in a half circle so that you have a big play area for those kids, you know? See? And this here in Louisville again, my good friends Hunter Bates and beautiful Jennifer Bates. And then this is in Midway, Kentucky. Look at this. It's the Sears Roebuck house that they saved. They bought it for the property and tear down the thing. They ended up putting brick over it and built a new, like a entertainment place. This is what I started with. Very organic feeling, appropriate. That's the thing. You know, I would get really bored just doing estates. You know, it's something different, something new. Here's in Louisville again. Look at this one. Before, after. Intrigue. I love this couple. I love them all, or I'm not going to work for them. And here's Bothero. I bartended a party here my senior year in college, back in 1937. I had to climb through that gate, and yeah, I just get a little emotional right now, sorry. I just can't believe it. I bartended in a room, and I remember looking up and going, oh my gosh, who would do the 15, 16-foot ceiling at a one-bedroom ranch, I called it, because it was built as a one-bedroom in 1851. And I was like, well, somebody I'd be friends with. You know, somebody likes beauty, and somebody likes drama, but not in a person, but in a space. That's what it looked like. It had bars on all the windows. And there's a side view. And here's more. Found this old building on the property and had it moved through historic. You know, you sneeze at this place, they come down on you. So, look at this place. It's hard to leave home every day. I always had a pool for my girls. You know, see the bars on the windows? Then I decided I start out and I put a koi pond in, just to see if I wanted to do this pool. I did this koi pond. It was beautiful, and I left my girls home. I go to a wedding on a Saturday. And after all, because they go with me in my truck every day. They're not with me today because they're at their hairdresser. I call it the curl up and dye shop. I came home and they found those koi. They had eaten 43. My house was a disaster, and I called the nice people up at Fiber Seal up in Cincinnati. You know, because in Lexington, that's what you call it. Are you from Cincinnati? Not Natty. And then I immediately turned it into that. No more fish, please. But here's what it looks like. And then I gotta get through here. Let's see. It's just, it came with a 1980 garage. So again, I've never had enough room for entertaining. So I started doing it. And that's what it looks like today. And looking out. It's just going to change it all the time. You know, I mean, I keep my core colors. I always do orange and blue by the pool. And formal garden yellows. I love bright, cheerful yellows, whites. And there's the inside. I do the interiors too. I can tell you where every little piece come from. And then I bought the original kitchen the day I got diagnosed with the cancer. And his name was J.C. Koch, 1810. And he had the first miller, he was the first miller in the first bakery west of the Allegheny Mountains. And look at that. And it's been fun. I mean, to be honest, and now here's the thing. I started doing Airbnb as an just to get rid of friends. No, I mean, I did it really. Because I live 2 blocks away from Rupp Arena. So there's a concert, you know, Taylor Swift. Oh, can we come and stay? There's a basketball game. Can we come and stay? Keeneland. Well, I'm not King Charles. Daddy's got to work. I got expensive taste, folks. I can't be cleaning up all the time. You'll love this. That is the original fireplace, the summer kitchen from my house. Look what I turned it into.
Oh, it's back?
With the tub. No, I've never taken a tub bath. No. I don't have to. When I first got those showers, I got those waterworks, you know, they're like $1,000. My best girlfriend, Stacy Greer, her family's been friends 185 years from Foggertown, Clay County. And we're still together. We talk every day. And I just talked to her on the way here. And we bought those $1,000 shower things. It feels like rain. And I was like, well, hell, I'm outside working. I can get that a couple days a week with rain. I want something. I went to the hardware store and I bought the $6 shower thing because I want it to burn the sin off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that softness. I need harsh water. I'm just telling you the truth. Here's the inside, before and after. Kitchen. Lincoln was a close friend of this man. Madison Connors Johnson built the house. And he married Cassius Clay's sister, Sally Ann Clay, who died 1 year in childbirth. And Dick Clay's here, who did an amazing, I can't see, he's honest, back then. We did a great thing on Madison Connors Johnson, a great article about him, if you want to learn about that. All my gardens look like Monet's. I have terrible eyesight. So everything looks fuzzy, so I can't really recognize anybody. I bought this sofa at a junk store in Columbus, Ohio, and it was covered with 3 inches of polyester yellow shag carpet. It's been in somebody's dorm up there. But it's the shape, you know, and I love that shape, so I bought it. You know, here, see these ceilings? There's the speakeasy now. There's a whole, it's 3,500 square foot, 1 bedroom, essentially. I've made it a 2 bedroom upstairs. And then there's a whole other, same area downstairs. I have a pool room, darts. Here's my poker room, cigar room, wine room. Oh, so I had HVAC, so I used old-time backer sticks. It cost me about $20 worth of backer sticks. And you do them, you know, like a Chevron, and look at that. It hit all the stuff. But I don't know enough. You know what I mean? I just do it. I just figure out. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail. I just want to do it until it works. And there's the bedroom. That's all. And then just quickly, we did when first Bashirs got in office, they were, you know what, Jane Bashir asked to do anything, you know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do anything she wants. And we redid this, our family did this all free of charge. No taxpayers did all that back in the day. This is a before and after down for Linda Bruckheimer. This was not even, I wasn't even supposed to do anything in there. But I said, what is in this building? They said, well, they old tires and, you know, like containers and stuff. So I cleared it out. I was going through 33 days of radiation last summer, a year ago. And that's when I did this. And I said, I never missed a day of work. I took the last one at the end of the day at UK, and I told everybody that worked for her, I said, she's out there in California or wherever she's filming. I said, don't send her any pictures or I'm walking off this job. I'm in the middle of radiation and I have no patience. Let me do it. Look at it, she loved it. She loved it. But anyway, there's, again, using these little buildings, that's my, look at that. Look at this. This, talk about making somebody happy. Look at that. That was done in truly about 7 days. Look at that. Oh, gotta show you, I gotta end on this since it's snowing today. There. Talk about happy. This is on Main Street. Lexington. Richmond.
Oh my God.
That's the same view. And there it is.
Fantastic. John, if you'll stay right there for just a moment. I'm going to allow the Rotarians to line up behind me and ask you a question or two.
So I really don't have a question, but you didn't really talk about your book. You showed all those photos, and I suspect most of them are in the book.
There's 24 gardens in there. I couldn't fit them all, but these are ranging from horse farms to small urban gardens. I didn't want it to be all this grandiose thing. And I mix it up, because that's what real people, you know, when I do these garden tours, I've got the Tuckahoe Women's Club from Richmond, Virginia. There's 1,200 members. This is their 3rd visit. 50 of them come on a bus. They're coming in April. And they spend, in 3 days, about $150,000 in their economy in Lexington. Take them on these curated garden tours. And that's what I like to do. Then they come back and have vacation with their family.
It's a great book, and you all want one. And he brought some for the sale. But if you've been to the American Saddlebred Museum, they also carry the book, and gracious Jennifer Foster has donated a book. So if you've been to the American Saddlebred Museum, raise your hand. Okay. I see a fellow in the far back was the first one. You get a free book. I'll bring it to you.
Leslie Smart, CEO of Louisville Ballet, and incredibly blessed to have John in our lives, particularly last summer when he was battling cancer. He came to the Louisville Ballet and truly transformed our space into a community healing garden. Critically important for us and our neighbors in the aftermath of the Old National Bank shooting. So John, will you talk a little bit about the healing power of gardens?
It's, bars make people happy. Dogs do too. Good food, laughter, and anytime you can have a place where people can sit and enjoy all those things, friends, and be out in nature. You know, I remember in New York, I had a lot of my friends, of course, I'm not friends with those people, they're all mamas, but you know, they would always be complaining over stuff all the time. I was like, well, come out and weed with me. Then it won't be as bad, whatever you're going through. You know, because they sold out your Manila Blahniks, you know what I mean? They don't have any more. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. But what matters is real. When you're outside and you're with God, with nature, one and the same, and it's healing. And every day I work for other people, and I come home and I water all summer long. But I have masochist. I have 150 containers, and I can't have water system in them. I have irrigation everywhere, but not in the containers because my dogs knock them out. But that's the most healing thing. And you know, when I lost my mother, and I went through all this stuff that I've gone through. I mean, it's just been a lot the last 5 years. And that's where I heal.
John, thank you for being here, and thank you for making our world more. Next week, we have our joint meeting with the Kiwanis Club. It's at the Audubon Country Club, and the registration for that is closed already. So if for some reason you still would like to get on a waiting list, there may be some cancellations, so please let Delaney know that. I see Craig Sherman over there. Craig, would you mind to raise your hand? Stand up, thank you so much. Guests, if you would please join Craig Sherman over at the What is Rotary table for just a few minutes after we adjourn this meeting. He'll let you know a little bit about our club, and thank you again for your service, Craig. We are adjourned.